Hey, everybody, it's Scott Steen with winnersandwhiners.com coming to you with the Thursday edition of Today in Sports Betting. Start off with a little NFL style as we take a look at the Green Bay Packers and the San Francisco 49ers. Scott, pretty excited about this game?
I might have picked the wrong career because I think the 49ers could use some depth and maybe about, 8 positions.
Holy mackerel, man. They are, between COVID and regular injuries, this team is taking a beating this season.
I think if this was a boxing fight, the corner would have thrown in the towel roughly three rounds ago.
Yeah, I agree. Let's take a quick look, and I'm gonna read my list, and you tell me if you've got any updates on this one. I've got the Niners are going to be without Jimmy Garoppolo, George Kittle, Mostert, Samuel, Brandon Ayuk, Kendrick Bourne, and possibly Tevin Coleman. Do you have anyone to add to that list, Scott?
Yes, you skipped offensive lineman Trent Williams, who's not.
Correct. That is right. That was a late one, and that's
a huge one.
Yes, that is a very big one. Their best offensive lineman arguably will not be making the start as well. So,
not to mention the fact that you still have all the injuries to Bosa's out for the year. D Ford's not back. Sherman's not back.
Yeah, Ansa Thomas and Flanagan Foles. Also.
They also just traded Quan Alexander.
Yeah, good call there, by the way. I don't understand that.
But. I don't know. But they got Kiko. Didn't they get Kiko back in return?
Kiko Alonso is.
I don't know. He was still in the league. Didn't they get him back?
Yeah, but I actually think he's on the report if I remember.
No, he's not allowed to play because I think you have to wait a couple of days before you officially. Don't you have to quarantine yourself when you join a new team for a couple of days?
Yeah, the same reason that Le'Veon Bell couldn't play for the Chiefs the first week.
Yeah. Now, for that reason, Kiko's not going to play. I'm not saying that's a big deal. It's more just the fact that Quan was known as being one of their best defensive players, and they just traded him off for basically scraps.
Magic beans, buddy.
Yep.
So
yeah, is that a thorough breakdown on everyone not there?
I think it is. I really think it is. I don't know. We're gonna have Nick Mullins at quarterback.
You should have Hasty and McKinnon work some type of hybrid. We also didn't mention Jeff Wilson, who was very good for that 1 week against New England. Won an IR in his last touchdown run. He's not playing either.
Yeah.
So you have two healthy running backs on the roster right now. McKinnon's more of course, a third down pass catching guy, which means that Hasty, even though he averaged 2.1 yards per carry against the Seahawks last week, should be handling the bulk. I'm assuming you agree with me on that?
Well, you've got and the other problem with McKinnon, you know what McKinnon has, don't you, Scott?
Well, his injury issues and he has ball security issues at times.
He's got tired legs. Tired legs. That's a thing apparently.
I'm sure.
I don't understand how guys in the prime of their career, in the tip-top physical condition, have played 7 games. They got tired legs. Yeah,
I don't know. But you're looking at the weapons for San Francisco. You know the number one receiver is for this game?
It's going to be
I was going to say without searching it up if you knew who the number one.
I just happened to be looking right at it. No, I wouldn't have known. It's probably going to be Trent Taylor. Yeah.
And it's also worth mentioning San Francisco cut Dante Pettis earlier this past week. I know he fumbled last week, but he was one of their only receivers that they had. If you're going to cut a receiver, you shouldn't pick the week where all your receivers get injured.
Pick the wrong week to stop sniffing glue, Scott.
Airplane's one of my favorite movies, so I do get that line. But
classic. Yeah,
it was really bad timing by San Francisco. They cut Pettis, and then the day after, Ayuk and Bourne and all these guys can't play. But you have no experience catching the ball. So you know who might make a sleeper appearance? Kevin White, former first-round wonder pick by the Bears. He's on the roster for San Francisco, so maybe he'll play. I don't know. This team has no receiving core. I know Jordan Reed is supposed to come back from IR, so they're probably going to use a ton of dual tight end sets with him and Dwelly. Sure. I don't know. You got any ideas?
No, I've got no.
Based on what I've seen with San Francisco.
I was going to guess Skeets Nehemiah was going to make an appearance.
Based on what I've seen from San Francisco against Green Bay last year, where everyone remembers that they dominated Green Bay the last couple of years, they're going to have to look to run the ball pretty much all the time. They're going to need to run the ball because Green Bay is the worst defense against the run in the entire league.
Right.
I expect Hasty to get fed early and often. McKinnon will probably get some touches, even though he's on tired legs, whatever the hell that means. And I expect San Francisco to try to bleed the clock as much as possible, keep Rodgers off the field, and hopefully win a game. Now, Green Bay, of course, has been underachieving as well. They have their own COVID issues, particularly the fact that they don't have a running back.
Right.
So does that matter? No, because you're just daring Aaron Rodgers to throw the ball more, which is not really a recipe for success for the defense. But I think you'll agree with me. Shanahan's game plan going in, he knows that he's fighting an uphill battle. It's got to be to run the ball at least, 30 to 40 times in this game?
It has to be. That's the only option. I don't see, you've got Nick Mullins, who the last time he played for real, he did well in garbage time last week when they played everybody, 10 yards off the line of scrimmage. He was fine. Last time he played a for real game, he was so good he got yanked in favor of C.J. Beathard against the Eagles.
Mm.
So yeah, I'm Scott. I'll tell you what. I'm not sure. I've got a premium play on the side here, but there's a play I like equally as well, and that is the under. I just don't know where the offense is going to come from for San Francisco. I don't think. I think Green Bay will do okay. Obviously, the thing is, if you have two teams and neither one of them can run the ball, I'll take the team with the better quarterback, please, and the better.
Especially when that quarterback's Aaron Rodgers. But
yeah.
For this matchup, I was trying to find some value. My favorite play on this was the under as well. I expect San Francisco to try to play ball control offense, try to keep long possessions, set up 3rd and 3, 3rd and 2, stuff like that. Try to move the chains. I think you'll agree with that. Set up the play action game, stuff like that. But the issue I have with San Francisco is the fact that they don't have any deep weapons. They got nothing.
Right.
And the receiving core is somehow worse than New England's right now, just to break it down. It is that bad.
Yeah.
And if you want to look at Green Bay, of course, Devontae Adams has gone nuts the last couple of weeks. San Francisco should have no answers because Sherman's still out, their secondary is banged up, and Metcalf just torched him for about 160 and 2 touchdowns. So I think Adams should play well. But at the end of the day, I don't know why. Maybe it's the fact that Shanahan always gets the better of LaFleur. Something about 7.5. I'm kind of tempted by San Francisco. I don't really know why. I'm not going to bet it because I don't want to gamble on my money with a team that has pretty much no players left. But maybe just me. I don't think highly of this Green Bay team at all. I agree that the spot itself benefits Green Bay. I also don't think that traveling to the West Coast on a short week is exactly a good spot for Green Bay, even though that pretty much all of San Francisco's best players are not playing. It's just a matter of I think Green Bay will win this game, but I think it'll be low scoring. I think the score will be somewhere in the realm of 24-20. I think this game's going to be pretty close, surprisingly. Something about Green Bay. I saw them earlier this year. They looked really good, and they hit a wall. And I just think that this team is good enough to win games, but they don't seem to be good enough to put teams away. I think that's a serious problem.
I'll tell you the prop that I'm really I haven't been able to find it. Maybe you've got it. Maybe you've got one there. Have you seen a prop on punts?
I know BetOnline usually has those.
I didn't find it.
Let me see if I can find it real quick. I'm assuming you like the over in that one.
Well, depending on the number, but yeah, that would be.
Depending on the number is the correct answer. So if you're paying attention at home, you should always consider the number.
Right.
Let's see what I got here.
I would put the number of punts somewhere in the 10 to 11 range. So
I think it'll be lower.
That's what I think.
I see 8.5 juice to the under. Over 8.5 punts is -105.
Yeah, that's a play for me right there.
Okay, so the one prop that I was looking at, which I'm tempted by, I forgot the exact number, but I'm pretty sure it was 25.5. I like the Jerick McKinnon over 25.5 receiving yards in this matchup. Simply put, you have no receivers at all. It's kind of funny because McKinnon might arguably be your best pass catcher. I gotta assume they're gonna use him like New England uses James White. He's just gonna catch a bunch of dump off passes. because they got no weapons to go to over the top. So McKinnon, I know he's got tired legs, whatever the hell that means, but I expect him to split with Hasty. If you think that this game will get out of control because you think the Packers should win, then game flow should dictate more snaps for McKinnon. I don't think McKinnon's a good running back, but he's a pretty good receiver out of the backfield, and his number actually went up from 25.5 to 28.5, so that sucks. Yeah, screw it. I know he had 40 last week. I liked the last night at 25.5. It's at 28.5, so there has been money coming in on the over. But at 40 last week, and you somehow have less weapons. So I'm assuming you'll agree with me that with so little left in the cupboard, you kind of have to get creative. And McKinnon is arguably their best pass catcher. So I can see him catching 5 passes for 30-something yards, 40-something yards.
Yeah, and, Nick Mullins not your best downfield thrower as well. So, yeah, I think that's legit. I think that's
also Green Bay also has a decent pass rush, so you can look for Mullins to panic a bit, throw some dump off passes, stuff like that.
Check down, baby, check down.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's one play I was looking at. Am I going to play it personally? No, I liked it more at 25.5. It did catch my eye though last night, but it's one of those where you hate to back the offense that's probably going to look anemic for most of the game, but with such a little weapons, you have a couple of ways to win that prop with McKinnon. You could have a screen pass, go for 30, couple of dump-off passes against linebackers, plus garbage time. McKinnon should pretty much play every snap where they're going to be forced to throw the ball late, which is what happened against Seattle. Played a lot of garbage time snaps, ended up racking up 40 receiving yards. I just think that there's a lot of paths to victory when it comes to that player prop. You agree with that?
Yeah. I think there's definitely a couple ways that can get done. But I think that's solid because you look at that and you don't know who to throw. I'm just going through the leading receivers last week for San Francisco. Ayuk out, Bourne out, Kittle out. Then you've got McKinnon. McKinnon caught 4 for 40. And
so out of all the active people on the roster, McKinnon led the team in receiving yards last week.
Yes, that is correct.
You're looking at 28.5. I'm not saying they're going to line up McKinnon in the slot or anything because they're so injury-riddled. It really wouldn't surprise me if they did that because I actually think McKinnon is a very good pass catcher. I think you might agree with that. He's a pretty good route runner, pretty good pass catcher. Shannon's creative. He's going to try to do something.
Yeah, and he's got a
couple dual running back sets there with McKinnon and Hasty together. That wouldn't surprise me either.
I was looking at one. I was hoping to find one for use check, and I don't have a prop on use check for receiving yards. I think.
I see use check at 12.5.
Yeah, I'll take the over there. He caught 2 for 20 last week. I think that's certainly legit.
That's fair.
All right. Anything else you like? Any other props you like in this one?
Not really. If I was going to look around, I'm sure you could find something maybe with Rodgers passing yards, stuff like that. But at the end of the day, once again, the issue I have with Rodgers passing yards is the fact that I think San Francisco is going to really, really try to just hold on to the ball as long as possible. So don't get me wrong, Rodgers should have a lot of opportunities, but he might have less time of possession to work with, and people don't really factor that in enough. I think if you really are anti-49ers, the team total for San Francisco is 20.5. Unders minus 125 on DraftKings. I said 24-20, and I feel like people might think I'm even being generous at 20 points for San Francisco. I'd have to lean under there, right?
Absolutely.
So that's how I'd look.
I want no part of any over action in this one at all.
Yeah, so I'll lean to the under, but San Francisco team total at 20.5, minus 125 to the under. Seems a little bit high to me. I think the number should be probably around 18.5, 19.5.
Yeah, they put up 27 last week against that dreadful Seattle defense.
Mostly it was garbage time. So
20 points came in the fourth quarter when it was absolute garbage time. Absolutely true. So
yeah. So
the game was already decided. They had a 27-7 lead going into the fourth quarter. So
20.5 is too high. So I'll lean under there.
All right, very good. All right, so that's our breakdown for this one. We knew we were going to have games like this with COVID around. It seems to me, maybe I'm wrong, but it seems to me that they're kind of inconsistent about how they cancel games or delay games, and they have this outbreak the day before the game.
Well, that's the summary of the Goodell era, because even whether it was involving COVID or whether it was involving random drug suspensions or random domestic violence suspensions. There's no consistency. You just spin the wheel of punishment. Whatever happens, happens. I'm not even joking. That's what it basically seems like. It seemed like that for years. I'm assuming you would agree with that.
The consistency has been lacking.
I'm just saying it's not even about COVID. It's about any type of disciplinary action or any type of safety measure that I don't know what they're doing half the time. The NFL behind closed doors.
Because we had the games earlier that were delayed. They ended up playing on a Tuesday because they had an outbreak, and they have an outbreak yesterday. Although part of it's not an outbreak, it's contact tracing where they're so it's.
I just don't understand how you can move the Chiefs-Bills game from Thursday to Tuesday, but you can't move this game from Thursday to Tuesday. San Francisco more people than the Bills and the Chiefs combined.
Well, the Bills Chiefs played on a Monday, but point taken. They moved it from
Monday. Sorry,
they moved it from Thursday to Monday. I think the same thing could be done here for sure.
Yeah, I thought it was Tuesday. That was the Titans game, whatever. But still, exactly. I just don't understand where you draw the line because San Francisco looks like they're more beaten up from COVID than. Not Tennessee. Tennessee was a wild case, but at least Kansas City, Buffalo.
Yeah.
And Buffalo wasn't even testing positive. Buffalo was a reaction to them playing Tennessee the week prior.
Mm-hmm.
So you had no tests at all, and yet you still moved it from Thursday.
Well, the Chiefs had their practice squad quarterback test positive.
Part of that also to do with the fact that Buffalo had played on Tuesday, so they couldn't play Tuesday and Thursday. So it was mostly a rest issue. But right. I just don't see it. I don't know how you're supposed to play this game on Thursday and claim that you're about player safety and that you're proactive when it comes to COVID stuff. Because
I think we're gonna see some shitty football tonight.
I think you should because it's Thursday night football. No, that was a joke because it's Thursday night football. But it's just I don't know. Like I know that Thursday night people love watching football, even though people have argued that the quality is not very good for the last couple of years. At the end of the day, you got college football games on. I don't think any people would be really outraged if San Francisco said, we're missing our entire team. Can we at least try to move this to Monday?
Yeah, I mean, give the NFL credit at least. I mean, they've had some terrible battles on Thursday nights, but, they had Chiefs-Buffalo scheduled. That should have been a great game. They had this game scheduled. This should have been a great game. Two of the top contenders there in the NFC. So
they lost all my credibility when they put Dolphins-Jaguars on Thursday Night Football, like in week 2. They lost all my credibility at that point.
Well, you're going to have to see the Jaguars at least once. I
was kind of hoping they moved the 49ers game to Monday because I don't want to watch Jets-Patriots.
Whoo! That's going to be another fun one. I can hardly wait to talk about that one. But all right, so that's it for today, guys. And if you want to read even more about this game, I don't know why you would, but if you want to get the most up-to-the-minute information, get a complete breakdown of this one, make sure you stop by and check out winnersandwhiners.com.
Would any part of you be interested in watching this game if you did not either have fantasy players or bets on it? Because there's no chance I'd even consider watching this game. Like, I am just not interested at all. And I'm not afraid to admit that. This game, based on all the injuries and stuff, is pretty brutal.
I would watch it just to see how bad it is.
That's fair.
I would watch it, yeah. But as far as
fun fact, that's the slogan for the NFC East this year.
Come and see how bad we can be.
Yep.
Okay. So, check out winnersandwhiners.com. Do that for this game, for every other game. Deep dives, every game, you know the drill. Good Lord, I say it every day. It is a great site, though, and do definitely check it out. Yeah. Well, you know what? We're going to be back to talk about a couple college games, so make sure you stay tuned for part 2 of Today in Sports Betting. But for myself, for Scott Reichel, for all of us over here at winnersandwhiners.com, hope every one of those tickets today turns into cash money back at the window for you. And, of course, we appreciate you watching. We couldn't do it without you. Make sure you drop us a comment. Let us know what you're on today. Let us know if we're out of our minds. Maybe you're all over those San Francisco 49ers. Tell us why we're wrong. And, of course, we'll be back and do it again when, Scott?
We'll be back to do it again tomorrow.
That's right. We'll be back to do it again tomorrow on Today in Sports Betting. Take care, everybody.